In this video, I'm going to be talking about the permit process, whether it's a very big renovation or a brand new house. Permits always take very long. In my city, at least, it takes about 9 months, and that's starting from when you submit the paperwork to actually getting the permit in hand. But the planning process starts long before that. Let's just say about 1 or 2 months. So you first start with working with an architect or a house designer, and they get the desired plan that you want. So of course the plan is basically the layout. So if it's a 2 or 3 level house, the living areas, and you have the bedrooms. But prior to that, you have to hire a surveyor on site to basically measure the property. And the reason for him is, first of all, when you build a brand new house, you kind of have to know where the house is going to sit. That's obvious. But the eventual size of your brand new house, it's going to be dependent on the real square footage of the lot itself. So you have to take those corners, you hire a surveyor. They're pretty quick. And once you get the size of the property, then the house designer can work with you on getting the house as big as you need. And normally I recommend, and what most people do, is they build a house as big as they can. Obviously you get more living space, and if you do it at the time of building, it's going to cost extra, but it's well worth the money. So get the surveyor, measure the property, measure the land, and then you start working on the plans. And there's a lot of back and forth between you and the house designer to come up with the final house plan and the layout that you want. Obviously, what it looks like from the exterior, the interior floor plan, right down to the type of staircase, the type of windows, where the kitchen's going to go, etc., etc. Once that is all hammered out, they just send it to the city, and the city looks at it, makes sure you're not missing anything, and then it just feeds it through the system. And again, in my city, it takes about 9 months from submission to getting the final permit. Before the city, so after the house designer or architect draws everything up, there has to be an engineer who's involved. Either your architect will know the engineer, or you can find one for yourself. But basically, if whenever you build the house, it is a structural building, and an engineer will have to kind of put his stamp of approval, because just want to make sure everything is structurally sound. So stuff that he'll do is basically figure out the size of the beams, how big the concrete, how thick the concrete needs to be, whether or not steel reinforcements are necessary, stuff like that. So that is the permit process.